Serene afternoon to everyone. My name is Tanishq. I am the student of PGDM third semester. Today I am standing here to deliver a presentation on the topic Psychoanalytic Theory of Personality. So before I proceed, I would like to thank Sudhit sir. So let's move to talk about the introduction of this theory. So, according to Sigmund Freud, human personality is complex and has more than single component. In his psychoanalytic theory, personality is composed of three elements. That is, the id, the ego, and the superego works together to just create a complex human behavior. All these three elements of the personality not only adds its own unique contribution to the personality but has the powerful influence on each individual. All these three elements of personality emerged at the different point of time in life. So let's deeply understand all these three elements of personality one by one. So the first is the id. So the id is the only component of the personality which is present from birth. It is completely unconscious and irrational, include all the instinctive and primitive behavior. According to Sigmund Freud, the id is the source of all the psychic energy, making it the primary component of the personality. Okay, so it basically operates on the pleasure principle, which includes all the which include the immediate gratification, which strives for the immediate gratification of all the needs and wants. If these needs and wants are not fulfilled immediately, then the result is the state of tension or anxiety. If these needs and wants are just fulfilled quickly, then we experience pleasure. Okay, now, for example, take an example, an increase in hunger or thirst should produce an immediate attempt to eat something or drink. Okay, let's move to talk about the properties of the eat. First is it operates on the pleasure principle. It is completely irrational and unconscious. It obeys no rules and regulations which want that immediate gratification. It is completely animalistic, or the increase in it can lead to trouble. So, if we talk about the example, so the according to Freud, the E try to resolve the tension which is created by the pleasure principle by just creating the mental image of the desired object. Okay, as a way to just satisfy the need. Take an example. It is very much important. The need is very much important early in life also, because it ensures that the infant's needs are met. Take an example, if infant is uncomfortable and hungry, he or she will cry until his needs are fulfilled. So you can see that how it is important early in life also. So let's move to talk about the second element, that is the ego. So the ego is the that part of the personality which is responsible for dealing in reality. The ego works in both the preconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. It is that part of reality which is the mediator, which mediates between the id and the superego. It operates on the reality principle, which tries to satisfy the id's desire or id's want in the delayed form, in the reality and the socially appropriate way, at the appropriate time and at the appropriate place. Okay, so if we talk about the example of the ego, the Sigmund Freud has just tried to just explain the relationship between the id and ego. Okay, he has compared the id with the horse and ego with the horse rider. The id, the horse provide what will the horse will provide the motion and the power to the horse rider, whereas the horse rider will provide the guidance and the direction to the horse. Okay, so without the horse rider, horse is nothing. The horse will wander here and there. So we can see that without the ego, the id is nothing. Okay, take an example. If you're stuck in the long meeting and you're feeling hungry, okay, you want to have some snack. So what will at that time the id will suggest you to just jump up from your seat and went outside to have some snacks, which will be something wrong in between the meeting. You cannot do it. And if what will ego will suggest you just to stay calm, stay patient, and wait for the meeting to be end. So you can see that how id and ego works. So let's move to talk about the next element, that is the superego. So superego is the last component of personality, which include all the internal ethical and moral aspects or standard which a person possesses, which is acquired by his parents or the society. It is basically our sense of right and wrong, that is consciousness. Okay, it operates on the morality principle also. It is completely moralistic, completely ethical. You can see in this picture also, id want that instinct include all the instinct and primitive behavior. Ego just believes in the reality principle, and super ego is completely moralistic. It basically provides the guidelines for the judgment. Okay, so you can see in this picture also, I need to eat it right this time. Means it is saying that I need to eat right this second. It's like the childish behavior where the immediate gratification, you can see here the immediate gratification. But what the super ego is suggesting, you can't do that because you are in the middle of the important meeting. It means it is giving kind of judgment, and it is saying that it is not morally or ethically correct to do it in between the meetings. So you can see here there is a picture of the iceberg. The Sigmund Freud had tried to explain all these three personality, all his elements of the personality with the help of this iceberg. Okay, you can see here the visible part, small visible part which is above the water is consciousness. Conscious is basically all the thought, feeling, ideas, and all the memories which we are aware of. And the next is pre-conscious mind, which is under the water. Pre-conscious means all the ideas, thoughts, and the memories which are currently not in our consciousness but can easily be brought to our awareness. Okay, and the last is which is deep under the water, which is bottom of this iceberg, is unconscious, all the thoughts and feelings which we are not aware. So here the unconscious is related to the id which is present from the birth, which want the immediate gratification. Here this here the pre-conscious is related to the ego, okay, which is half the conscious and half unconscious. And here conscious is related to the superego. So you can see that how he has tried to explain his theory with the help of this iceberg, and it has also explained how human mind is structured at the different level. Just id believe in the immediate gratification, whereas ego believe in delayed gratification. Okay. So the next is what happens if there is imbalance. So there is should be a balance between the components of the personality. If there is imbalance, if there is excessive dominance of the id, then the person will have like a childish behavior. He will want all the immediate gratification, and for that immediate gratification, he may commit crime also. Okay, and if there is an excessive dominance of ego, the person will be tied up with the reality, tied up with the rules and regulation, and he may be like a concrete or rigid. And we all know how flexibility is important in dynamic environment, in such a modern era, in such a dynamic environment. And next, if there is excessive dominance of the superego, the person will be more moralistic, judgmental. I think it means due to imbalance of the all of these components, the person may face the repercussions of this. So you can see in this picture, id, I want this, it means immediate gratification. Ego, let's work on it. It means it want it, but in a socially appropriate way and in a practical way. And superego, this is not the way to get it. It means it is just providing that kind of judgment, or it is saying that it is not ethically, it is not the ethical way to just get it. So you can see here the applications of psychoanalytic theory. It helps to understand the customer's desire and motivation. It also helps to understand the customer's hidden motive behind buying any goods and services, because majority of the customers don't want to just disclose the reason behind buying any goods and services. The next is it also helps in segmentation and the positioning. Okay, take an example. If a person who has the dominance of the ego and another person who has the dominance of the superego, then the needs and wants of that particular person will be different. That's why it helps in segmentation and positioning. Also, it also helps in psychotherapy and counseling. So it also, this theory also helps in just in the treatment of the serious mental issues such as depression, like bipolar disorders and anxieties and so on. So let's move to talk about the limitations of this theory. So there is always a lack of scientific evidence. Okay, because this theory is based on the Sigmund Freud personal ideas and personal judgment, and it is untestable and just subjective. All these three elements, that is the ego and the super ego, can't be measured scientifically. Okay, the next is neglect of rational decision making. So this theory believes that the purchase decisions are mainly taken emotionally or illogically or unconsciously, but the fact is that majority of the purchase decisions are taken in a planned way or in very logical way. The next is cultural and social limitations. So this theory was developed or proposed in 19th century, and it is believed that it will be not suitable or appropriate in such a modern era, in such a diverse culture, in such a dynamic environment. Okay. Next is alternative theories are more practical. Alternative theories such as the behavioral theories and cognitive are supposed to be more practical, they because they provide all the kinds of information about the customers. That's why they are more practical than this psychoanalytic theory. So these were some of the limitations of the psychoanalytic theory. So this was all about this theory. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.